been 7 months since Virgin Galactic Spaceship Two broke up over the desert in California, casting doubt on the future of Sir Richard Branson's commercial space project. Since then, the company has vowed to continue its efforts to get customers into space, even saying it hoped to resume flight tests by last month. Not only has that not happened, but the CEO of Virgin Galactic has now told Newsnight that he can't give a specific date for getting people into space. Moreover, some former customers and employees of the company have expressed concerns that it has the ability to deliver its promise. Mark Urban has been investigating.
Oh.
That was White Knight 2. What happened?
White Knight 2's over here.
Something might have hit the ground over there.
Something hit the ground?
Yeah, there was something, it looked like it was burning.
Oh. Oh my God.
It was last October in the Mojave Desert, and onlookers had been waiting for another test of the world's first private spaceship. On the ground, aerospace journalist Doug Messier and friends were ready to photograph the fourth powered flight by a revolutionary craft.
I actually was filming it and lost track of it right about the time it broke up, but I heard Ken say they're in trouble and then they're tumbling, and I was in shock. Tumbling?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
12 seconds after being dropped by its mothership, Virgin Galactic's Spaceship Two was breaking up over the desert.
Ken says, "Hey, I think something hit over there." And we looked out over there and we saw a big cloud of dust where one of the pieces had hit. And that was followed by 2 or 3 other big clouds of dust. Where are we going?
Doug and his friends made their way down to where the body of co-pilot Michael Alsbury lay, still strapped to his seat. There was nothing they could do for him.
There was a fair amount of loss of life. Now, what people don't understand is that Mike Alsbury was the 4th person to lose his life on this project. There were 3 engineers who were killed in 2007 during a test stand accident. So this program's claimed 4 lives already, and it's only had 4 powered flights, and they haven't gotten anywhere near space in 10 years. So it's been pretty deadly.
Last autumn's loss of a test pilot following on from a ground accident years before caused fresh doubts. Virgin's project was launched more than a decade ago with appropriate Branson fanfare, and it presented an inspiring vision.
Exciting day, we're going to space. I'm pleased to launch our new company, Virgin Galactic, and to announce our plans to build and to launch, within 3 years, the first of Virgin's fleet of spaceships.
Branson's idea was extraordinary. It was a hugely ambitious promise to fulfill the dreams so many people had of travelling into space, or those who could afford it anyway. B.J. Bjorklund had flown Air Force B-52s before becoming a stockbroker, and one of the first to put his money down as a Virgin passenger.
I went to the Air Force Academy to get in the space program, and I, obviously did not get into the space program the way I had anticipated that I would. But when they announced that they were going to form this spaceship company, I said, that's what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
For Richard Burr, a Norfolk property developer, the project was a chance to fulfill something he'd first thought about as a boy.
I'll be 60 this year, and I never really imagined in my lifetime that I'd have the opportunity to go into space, and as it's there, I'm going to take it.
But inspiring as the quest was, Virgin were overselling what they could deliver at the time. Critically, they were too optimistic about when their customers' dreams might become a reality. What was the first date you were given as to when you might fly?
When we first signed up, they were talking about sort of 3 or 4 years, but obviously
2007.
Yeah, 7 or 8, maybe, from once I first put my deposit down. But obviously, a job like this isn't isn't a 5-minute job. They have to do it. You know, safety is their utmost priority.
Virgin bought into the technology developed by an American company called Scaled Composites. In 2004, they'd won the X Prize, a $10 million challenge to build the world's first reusable spacecraft. Then, Virgin simply wanted to scale up this craft to one that could carry 6 paying passengers. What could go wrong?
It is difficult, and it's not surprising, I think, that it has been a very difficult struggle to actually get something which is going to be working reliably and safely, and that's the key thing, the safety of if you're having paying passengers on board. That has to be, of course, the prime concern.
Overcoming the many technical challenges needed to build what they called Spaceship Two has consumed huge amounts, hundreds of millions of Virgin's money over the years, and from 2009, when Gulf business partners joined, $380 million of theirs. New customers continued to sign up, and soon there were hundreds of them, paying up to $250,000 apiece. Virgin Videos showed the champagne lifestyle they could take part in, and featured excited customers, including BJ Björklund.
It's fun meeting people from around the world and getting to know them, and I'm really enjoying it.
By 2009, Virgin Galactic could at least unveil Spaceship Two and ready it for unpowered test drops. In this Virgin video, an altimeter is shown at more than 350,000 feet, well above the 62 miles or 327,000 feet of the so-called Kármán line, the internationally accepted definition of space. But Virgin's contractual small print promised only to get people to 50 miles, a definition of space used by NASA, but still a target that was proving very hard to meet. When powered testing started in 2013, Spaceship Two reached another milestone. They began with short burns of the engine, with the intention of increasing those towards the length needed to push the craft up into space. But it wasn't easy, so they started testing a new type of fuel, which prompted design changes to the ship and more delay.
In flight, the longest burn was 20 seconds, and they have to go probably at least a minute or longer to get to 50 miles.
How do you think they're going to recoup their investment in this?
Well, I'm not sure they can. It's interesting, is they've spent about $600 million so far on the project. That was up through early November. And from what I'm hearing, they're going to have fewer people per ride than they had planned. They had initially planned 6 people in the back, and I think it's been reduced to 4 customers.
Stand by for feather.
There are other issues too. The craft uses a braking system called feathering to slow its descent. The whole rear wing and tail fold up. One explanation for October's accident is that this feathering happened far too early. Whether it was the pilot engaging it too soon or there's something wrong with the design are questions now being examined by an inquiry. For customers, though, it was another reminder of sacrifices made on their behalf, and of course, it meant more delay. BJ Björklund, one of Branson's founder customers, had heard pessimistic rumours about the engine. True or not, that was the last straw for him.
And I was beginning to hear rumblings that, you know, the new fuel that they were testing out might not be adequate to get into space. You know, they say later this year we're going to be flying the next spaceship, but knowing the way the program is run, it seems to always take longer than anticipated. So I said, well, that's probably, you know, a couple years down the road until they finally get that thing going, and then the big uncertainty on, you know, the fuel system kind of tipped the balance for me to kind of say, well, I think I'm going to just back out of this program.
The accident sent the community around the Mojave test site into mourning.
You drive around this area here in Mojave Spaceport, you see the dozens of companies that have come here with aeronautical space ideas. And there have been some big new developments that have come out of here over the years. But there have also been quite a few companies that have run out of money or ideas and failed spectacularly too. And of course Virgin doesn't want to be one of those.
Virgin says less than 20 customers left after the crash, a figure more than made up for by new registrations since. The company puts the total at around 700. Oddly, Branson himself had referred to 800 customers shortly after the accident, a figure people close to the company now admit was incorrect. There's no clear idea, though, when those customers might fly.
I think this accident has been a huge setback for the space tourism industry, and this is something which will take a while to get over. So if I were to have to guess, I would think, something like a few years before we could have a flight which goes up and comes down successfully.
That assessment of years is endorsed by an employee who recently left Virgin Galactic, who told us,
"I can't say whether it will be 2 years or whether it will be 5. They have a huge, huge way to go."
And although most future astronauts haven't asked for their money back, that isn't exactly the vote of confidence that the company might say it is. One told Newsnight, "Like most customers, we're really not very confident that the spaceship would fly as advertised, but that he wouldn't ask for a refund until there's absolutely no hope." Another who did get their money back from Virgin told me,
"I don't think they appreciate fully how many of their customers have very serious doubts about them. And what's sticking them to the table is this thought of, I don't want to give up on my dream."
Virgin Galactic has now taken over testing from Scaled Composites. After the accident, Virgin said a new ship would be flying by April 2015. But once again, that didn't happen. Virgin Galactic's boss joined us over the internet to discuss the way ahead.
We are going to fly when it's safe to fly. And while I think we all would have preferred to be flying earlier, what is most important is that we fly safely. And I think the fact that the program has taken a bit of extra time is just a testament to the fact that we're going to do it when it's ready to fly.
How close do you feel to achieving the goal you're trying to reach, i.e., to get people into space? Do you think that's still years away?
Mark, I am hesitant to give a specific date because I want to give our flight test team the time that they need to do it right. I think we're getting closer, and the spaceship behind me now, which is the second spaceship, is this testament to the fact that we are getting closer to returning to test. But at the end of the day, I think it's very important that we don't pressure our engineers on a particular schedule, and so I hesitate from giving specific dates.
It just seems like an awful long way to go. 71,000 feet is the highest you've flown in tests. It seems like you've still got quite a hill to climb.
Well, we've got work to do, that's for sure. But actually, Mark, the way that this program works is that in some ways the hardest parts are the parts that are at the front, getting the vehicle ready to fly, and then getting through the transonic barrier, which is Mach 1, which we've done, have been the things that we've wanted to exercise the most care about.
Are you making changes to the design as a result of the accident? I know that the NTSB findings are still not public, but I believe they have shared certain findings with you.
What I can say is that this vehicle is basically the same as the first vehicle, and that's about all I can say right now.
We know that people have left the program, key people in many areas. How challenging is it after so many years to keep a team together and to keep it effective?
It really hasn't been a challenge at all. I mean, there's no other program in the world like this that is very focused on bringing dozens, hundreds, thousands of people into space very soon. And so we have people who've come from all over the world to be a part of this program. And they are absolutely committed. They've made sacrifices in their own lives. We all have. And they're committed to making it happen.
Do you ever have concerns
that the commitment, the money, the will to carry on might run out?
I don't. I think that our investors are solidly behind this. I think the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of our customers, about 98% of them, have stuck with us and have been fantastic. And I'm really more optimistic than I've ever been.
Construction moves on, and customers like Richard Burr, despite the uncertainties, have no intention of asking for their money back and hope Virgin can keep going.
They've got to a point now where I feel that they have to, come what may. Which is a shame, but at the end of the day, he has so much riding on this. So it's going to be unfortunate if it doesn't happen, but that's life. We can't succeed at everything. Even the big guys fail.
Virgin pushes on, insisting it'll fly when it's safe to do so. At this point, those chasing the dream have no easy options.